Coming to complete 44 laps in Mexico City. Defending Busch Series champion Martin Truex Jr., who's led 15 laps today, out in front with Kevin Harvick curb jumping and shortcutting and doing everything he can trying to close that gap and take the lead. Now Harvick drives for Richard Childress, who owns his Cup car. Harvick owns the 33 driven by Ron Hornaday, and you see Hornaday get tagged by our pole sitter Jorge Getters.
Yeah,
Hornaday around.
He didn't have his blinker on. He turned hard left. That was not good.
He was back there running in the 16th position before that happened.
Look at Harvick hop these curbs, Darrell.
You know what? That car, that paint. Oh, look here.
Ron Fellows in 87. He was running in the 6th position.
Boy, Ron's had a tough go of it. It's one way to keep him from winning.
The road course ringers are not getting a lot of respect.
You'll be all right, dude. You'll be all right.
A lot of respect
about 4 more anyway.
from the Busch Series regulars here.
He's one of those cars that pitted back on lap 17, lap 19, so you heard him say about 4 more laps. We anticipate Martin Truex Jr., an 8-car leader, should be to pit road either this time or maybe the next lap. Yeah. They've had 10 cautions since he pitted. That buys him a little extra fuel mileage.
See what happened to Ron Fellows?
He got a run out of the chicane, headed down to turn 1.
Trying Carlos Contreras.
Gets alongside of him there. But we see, how many times have we seen that? Turn 1 and around turn 2 there, people get spun out.
It's like Contreras got up on the curb and jumped over into Ron Fellows into his quarter panel and turned him around.
It's so hard to go through turn 2, especially there, that little left-hander side by side. Jeff?
Well, right now I'm standing behind the 5-car pit of Adrian Fernandez. They're getting ready to bring their car down pit road. Just a few laps earlier, Ryan Patty on the 41 car, Reed Sorensen, came down to check with Jim Long to see when they were coming so they wouldn't have any kind of problems getting in and getting out. And the way it works out, Brian Patty thinks they're going to wait and come an extra lap. They don't know too sure about it right now because the 41 car guys have already just jumped down. Look like they're going to make a pit stop also, Matt.
Service already going on the 60 car of Carl Edwards. The chassis adjustment already completed. The car was tight all over, went up on the track bar. And the 64 car, Rusty Wallace on pit road as well. The 60's down and away. The 60's away as well.
Will this be the first of the wave of the final pit stop for these guys? They know they can make it from here to the end. There's see Martin Truex Jr. and 8 waving to Kevin Harvick in the 21. You just wonder, is he possibly out of fuel? But he's definitely coming to pit road this time. Cannot have a mistake. 35 miles per hour, and the pit crew has to be solid. He's all the way down to the end of pit road near the exit.
Right there is where pit road speed begins, 150 feet before the first pit. So, oh, trouble, as that is Ruben Garcia Novoa in the fence.
All right, Reed Sorensen in the 41, Martin Truex Jr. in 8. This is a great break for them because the caution will come out. They get this free pit stop, as well as Boris said, Fernandez, Jamie McMurray. Everyone else will have to pit under caution, and they'll be behind them. The timing was perfect.
Matt?
Mike, that's exactly what Bono Mannion just told Martin Truex as the sprinkles begin again. So this is a huge break for us. No chassis adjustments on the 8 cars. The jack man stumbled a little bit coming around the car. Haskell Lavalette grabbing the lugs on the right rear. The 5 is down and away. The 41's away. And there goes Truex.
On the 41, they just went.
Reed Sorensen comes off the pit lane. We are under caution for the Novoa crash. He went heavily into the tire wall. As there's Fernandez, who's completed his pit stop.
Boy, he got out of his pit box in a hurry.
And our new leader will be Kevin Harvick.
He being the 5 car.
Harvick finished second the last 2 weeks in the Busch Series, but this will be the first time he has led a lap this year.
But the bad news is, Mike, we know he's going to have to come to pit road and make a pit stop, whether it's this lap or a lap or so ahead to get to his fuel window. That's the bad news for him. And remember, he was the one that benefited from a very similar situation back on lap 17.
Let's get an update on Reed Sorensen's stop. Here's Jeff.
Mike, I'm telling you right now, Reed Sorensen's crew, they did an awesome job. I mean, just an awesome pit stop because they got him in and out, I mean, so quickly right now, got all adjustments they needed to get done to this car, and they've really got this young man pumped up. Brian Patty has done an excellent job of keeping him under control, keeping all 4 tires on the track, which is going to be the key for them having a successful day. Matt?
Now, Jeff, Bono Mannion just told Martin we are in good shape. When we go back to green, we should have 2 cars in front of us, the 60 of Edwards and the 64 of Rusty Wallace. They pitted the lap before we did. Just save your stuff under this caution. Conserve fuel best you can. We should be good to go the distance.
So Martin Truex Jr. and Reed Sorensen benefit from the timing of their pit stops. May have put themselves in a position to win here in Mexico City. One driver that has impressed me tremendously is Carlos Contreras in the number 40. He's running in 2nd place. He spent 2 seasons in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He also ran 2 races in the Busch Series in 2003. He's a 2-time Mustang Series champion here in Mexico. That's a spec series of identically prepared cars, but he has had a great race there. He's not been out of the top 5 all day, I don't think.
He qualified there. He was there in practice. You're absolutely right. I mean, it played right into his hand as well.
Kevin Harvick, the leader, under caution for a crash by Ruben Garcia Novoa. Welcome back to Mexico City, where the traffic jam is right here on pit road. Jeff.
Right now, our leader, that was our leader, Kevin Harvick, just completed his pit stop. The guys, he was a little bit upset because he was going to try to lead a lap whenever Martin Truex came off the pit on the pit road. And what happened? They got burnt by that caution right there, and Ricky Byers was a little bit disappointed. But his teammate, Clint Boyer, he's pretty excited. He's got a great race car. He came in, made an adjustment last stop, and he said, "Man, I'm ready to rock and roll." He's in 3rd place.
So what Jeff's saying is that when Truex pitted, Harvick stayed out to lead a lap. He gained 5 points, but he lost a lot of track position. There's our pole sitter in the 66. Jorge Getters, pole sitter and runner-up in yesterday's support race, who led the first 24 laps of this race and then had a spin. But he climbed back up to 7th place at the time of this pit stop.
And he was probably a little relieved that this pit stop was under caution and not under green as the first one was. But just to update, remember the 7 cars that caution really played into their hand. Martin Truex Jr. in the 8, Jamie McMurray in the 42, Boris Said in the 1, Reed Sorensen in the 41, Adrian Fernandez in the 5, as well as Carl Edwards in the 60 and Rusty Wallace in the 64. Those 7 cars pitted before pit road was closed when the caution was displayed.
While today is the first points-paying race for a major NASCAR series, a national touring series, in history, NASCAR did run some exhibition races in Japan in Suzuka and Motegi. They were exhibition non-points-paying races to what was then the Winston Cup Series. However, to induce the Winston West Series teams to attend, they did receive points at Suzuka, so put a little asterisk here.
But the biggest thing about this race, over a $2 million purse. It paid right at $40,000 just to start this race. That's something the Busch Series is not used to.
NASCAR drivers have a rich history racing in Mexico. The Carrera Panamericana, first run in the early 1950s, and Oregon's Herschel McGriff, the inaugural winner, a long-time NASCAR star.
Figure this. Bill France Sr. and Curtis Turner teamed up to run the Mexican road race.
That was a 6-day race, Darrell. I don't think we would have been covering that one.
You saw the 8 team of Martin Truex Jr. reviewing their pit stop. There's an overhead camera that takes a picture of the pit stop, and as soon as it's over, they go back to evaluate their performance.
Well, how about strategy from here, Jeff?
Well, Mike, interestingly enough, we talked to a lot of the veteran drivers, such as Boris Said and Kevin Harvick and Rusty Wallace and Elliott Sadler. And they told me that they were going to try to keep their car intact, keep it on the track to like lap 60. And at lap 60, they were definitely going to turn up the heat. But with all this pit strategy, the way things are kind of playing out, it's making me wonder if these drivers are going to kind of vary their strategy a little bit over this final run to get themselves in a position for a good finish.
Oh, Jeff, that's always the case. You know, strategy, matagy. It usually goes out the window because of caution flags.
22 laps to go in the inaugural NASCAR Busch Series event in Mexico. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.